COAB. Amy Watson wrote that Mr. Davis is the reason why COAB hasn't gotten anything done in response to his complaint. Why is it that there are extensive media articles saying that COAB was having problems from the very first meeting on April 2nd, 2015, long before Mr. Davis ever set foot at COAB meeting? So how can one person, who hasn't even started going to COAB until January 2016, be responsible for problems that existed long before they showed up? Basically, it looks to me like COAB had problems from day one, and Mr. Davis became an easy scapegoat for an organization that was set up to fail from day one. COAB PD members were dropping like flies, and there were major issues long before Mr. Davis ever set foot at a COAB meeting. Been saying they don't have adequate resources to get COAB's business done since day one. So how is Mr. Davis responsible for COAB's lack of resources? Can we at least all acknowledge that COAB had problems before Mr. Davis showed up, and that one person cannot possibly be powerful enough to be responsible for every single failure related to COAB and COCL? COAB wouldn't give Judge Muniz an office when it was first created, so he had to work out of a police station. Can you see why mentally ill folks who have been brutalized by police may not want to step into a police office to meet with him? Apparently he didn't even have a working internet connection or computer in that office. There was a lack of necessary resources from day one. Keith Davis had nothing to do with the fact that it took the city forever to get a functional COAB office. Not having a functional office is going to make it hard for any organization to get their business done. http://www.portlandworkarea.com/portland/m-officers/content?OID=152080067. Let's actually look at the facts. The facts are that the COAB PD was having trouble getting along at least as far back as November 2015, which this article below evidences. Mr. Davis was not involved COAB in November 2015. Officer Paul Meyer attempted to get Tom Steenson, Rochelle Silver, and Philip Wolf kicked off of COAB for not paraphrasing him verbatim. If anyone has ever written an academic, people paraphrase all the time as long as they cite and credit the source. So, Officer Meyer created a big distraction, and a lot of time had to be spent dealing with this, instead of getting COAB's business done. http://www.portlandworkarea.com/portland/the-group-the-start-suppose-to-help-portland-reform-infantry/content OID=170391848. This article was written in October 2015, talking about how the COAB board couldn't get along, and how Kathleen saw that felt there was no solid foundation for COAB. And I quote, "So that said, her greatest frustration has been the lack of sound foundation being laid for this board, and noted that training and orientation for board members at the outset were not sufficient. But," she said, "it's getting better. It's more functional than it was a few months ago." Mr. Davis was not involved in COAB at this point, so clearly there were other problems with COAB. In this article, Brad Taylor also says this is a botched process. In April, Taylor sent an email to the compliance officer community liaison stating, "It seems that the COAB was put to work, starting from an already behind position, and noting it was handling full agenda before fully understanding what its role was under the settlement agreement, and before its members were able to get an understanding of each other's backgrounds and priorities." Apparently there was another issue Brad mentioned about private, secret emails among BD members discussing official COAB business. Even Amy Watson admits in this article that COAB business should not have been done by private email. He was also concerned that much of the communication between COAB members was taking place in private emails. If a member of the public were to ask to see what the COAB has been considering, I would need to print hundreds of pages of emails. and the format would be almost impossible to follow. Watson says COAB members should be using its website forums to communicate, but use has been sporadic. There seems to be sort of left-side conversation. For a while, people were getting a bunch of emails, and some of it was unpleasant, to say the least. So this mistrust didn't come out of nowhere. It's actually a big no-no in government to do official GVT business in a private, secret setting no matter what level of GVT you work at. It also could have serious legal implications for Sunshine Act and FOA and all kinds of things. Why is it that there are extensive media articles saying that COAB was having problems from the very first meeting on April 2nd, 2015, long before Mr. Davis ever set foot at COAB meeting? So how can one person, who hasn't even started digging to COAB until January 2016, be responsible for problems that existed long before they showed up? Basically, it looks to me like COAB had problems from day one, and Mr. Davis became an easy scapegoat for an organization that was set up to fail from day one. COAB PD members were dropping like flies, and there were major issues long before Mr. Davis ever set foot at a COAB meeting. They've been saying they don't have adequate resources to get COAB's business done since day one. So how is Mr. Davis responsible for COAB's lack of resources? Can we at least all acknowledge that COAB had problems before Mr. Davis showed up, and that one person cannot possibly be powerful enough to be responsible for every single failure related to COAB and COCL? Let's actually look at the facts. The facts are that the COAB PD was having trouble getting along at least as far back as November 2015, which this article below evidences. Mr. Davis was not involved COAB in November 2015. Officer Paul Meyer attempted to get Tom Stinson, Rajal Silver, and Philip Wolf cut off of COAB for not paraphrasing him verbatim. If anyone has ever written an academic, people paraphrase all the time as long as they cite and credit the source. So, Officer Meyer created a big distraction, and a lot of time had to be spent dealing with this, instead of getting COAB's business done. http://www.portlandworkarea.com/group-the-post-the-group-help-portland-reform-its-police-count-tent oid equals 170391148. This article was written in October 2015. Talking about how the COAB board couldn't get along, and how Kathleen Saad had felt there was no solid foundation for COAB. And I quote, Sadat said her greatest frustration has been the lack of sound foundation being laid for this board, and noted that training and orientation for board members at the outset were not sufficient. But, she said, it's getting better. It's more functional than it was a few months ago. Mr. Davis was not involved in COAB at this point, so clearly there were other problems with COAB. In this article, Brad Taylor also says this is a botched process. In April, Taylor sent an email to the compliance officer community liaison stating, it seems that the COAB was put to work, starting from an already behind position, and noting it was handed a full agenda before fully understanding what its role was under the settlement agreement, and before its members were able to get an understanding of each other's backgrounds and priorities. Apparently there was another issue Brad mentioned about private, secret emails among PD members discussing official COAB business. Even Amy Watson admits in this article that COAB business should not have been done by private email. He was also concerned that much of the communication between COAB members was taking place in private emails. If a member of the public were to ask to see what the COAB has been considering, I would need to print hundreds of pages of emails, and the format would be almost impossible to follow. Watson said COAB members should be using its website forums to communicate, but use has been sporadic. There seems to be sort of left-side conversation. For a while, people were getting a bunch of emails, and some of it was unpleasant, to say the least. So these current issues of mistrust didn't come out of nowhere. It's actually a big no-no in government to do official GVT business in a private, secret setting no matter what level of GVT you work at. It also can have serious legal implications for Social Act and FOA and all kinds of things. Straight from the horse's mouth, Watson said the inflicting among parties has taken up a considerable amount of the compliance officer community liaison's time. This inflicting she speaks of was taking a lot of COCL time and preventing them from getting their business done, and it didn't have anything to do with Mr. Davis. http://news.streetwits.org/1010/1-su/10 So, there was also an objection to a private retreat, but this was objected to by Gun Randleman. It had nothing to do with Mr. Davis. Can you see how private retreat create distrust? In a separate email, Commissioner Amanda Fritz defended closing the retreat to the public, noting that the City Council held a private meeting last year to discuss group dynamics. Oregon public meeting law allows closed sessions under certain circumstances, including if the group refrains from making decisions or discussing public business. Even if something is legal to do, it can still create the appearance of impropriety. http://www.wwek.com/news/2016/01/006/activist-complain-more-over-sealing-police-will-meet-just this month, the Oregonian published an editorial quoting Houle Gordley. She says its lack of resources and interest by the mayor and commissioners that is causing COAB to be ineffective and not get its business done. Since convening in February 2015, board members have complained about insufficient training and education from city officials to orient the citizen volunteers in how to do their work, adhere to public meetings law and other requirements. They criticized a lack of engagement and interest from Mayor Charlie Hales, who serves as police commissioner, and from Police Chief Larry Odie, who has yet to sit down with the board despite a requirement for twice yearly meetings. There's nothing that signals this work is a priority for the mayor and the chief, said Houle Gordley, a former state senator who serves on the oversight panel and called for the temporary suspension of work. How was any of what Houle Gordley mentioned anything that Mr. Davis has any influence or control over? It seems like everyone is just looking to point a finger elsewhere, instead of looking at what they could have done themselves to make this better. Is it such a hard thing to admit you aren't perfect and could have done something? http://www.oregonlive.com/opinion/index.ssf/2016/006/citizens_panel_report.html. No one human being could possibly control Judge Simon, COCL, COAB, USDOJ, PPB, and every City of Portland employee. One community member, who has no power or authority over COAB, cannot possibly be responsible for all of the reasons that COAB hasn't been able to get their business done. If Mr. Davis is really that powerful that he can control this entire operation and is the sole factor in determining whether COAB accomplishes anything, then he is the most powerful human I have met, and you probably should be paying him to do something for you. Can we all agree that this has been a poorly managed, grossly over-budget experiment that has produced few, if any, tangible changes to the Portland Police Bureau?